So when you think big oil, you think big pharma. Yep, there's corruption, of course, with lobbyists, but across the board. But a lot of people overlook the unions. That's why they feel so bold in demanding a 75% pay raise.
77 years.
Yeah.
77% over 5 years.
It's hard.
Are you kidding me? Let's get to the strike of the longshoremen. So,
The bravest among us, Stephen.
the bravest among
How
us.
you have to say it, by the way.
Longshoremen.
Yes.
My father was a longshoreman. I'll be a longshoreman.
Used a gantry.
My entire family tree will be longshoremen. Why are you saying it like that? I don't know. I'm trying to make it fun. So, again, the theme today is the people versus the elite. You may not think of the elite as massive unions, but I assure you they are.
The bosses.
Yeah, the management of the unions. But
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, even in this case, when you're talking about the longshoremen, the base salary and the benefits.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's not even close to the average American. So this idea that this is being done to ensure American job sustainability, no, it's not true. And I understand, that automation is an issue, and I don't necessarily know how we solve all of it, but everyone has a line. And I'll get to the automation point. Let me just lay this out for you, okay? You ever go, I don't know, if you ever go on a road trip and you see a bunch of road construction,
Yeah.
you don't look at it and think that's a beacon of government efficiency, right? But you see
Especially
them
not 5 years later when it's still there.
Yeah, especially in New Jersey.
But you see them with bulldozers, you see them with steamrollers, right? Okay, well, here's the thing. Those are all forms of automation to some degree. I don't know if you know this, you could employ more people through the taxpayer dime if you only gave them shovels and rakes. Like we did at one point in time. Hey, you can employ even more people if you just use spoons. Which, I don't know if you know, we did that during the Great Depression, FDR, right? Unemployment, all of a sudden that went down when we just said, hey, let's just give people shovel-ready jobs. Go to northern Michigan, see the up north trees as we know them. They just had people that say, hey, go plant trees. They planted them in rows, so you'll see these either pine or cedar trees that are sticks with a mushroom tip at the top and nothing else. Why? Well, it was employment. But is it a useful job? So everyone has a line as far as automation. Is it the automobile? Is it a tractor? Is it planes? Or is it, just automating certain portions, for example, of our ports here in the United States to be up to speed with the rest of the world as they began to do this in 1993? So Tuesday, the International Longshoremen's Association, the ILA, they went on strike for the first time in nearly 50 years. Today is going to be a history lesson. It's a lot of fun and angering.
Tonight, crucial ports that fuel the American economy from New England to the Gulf Coast at a standstill after tens of thousands of union dock workers walked off the job.
If it's a fight they want,
The International Longshoremen's Association and the U.S. Maritime Alliance failing to reach a deal.
Yes, failing to reach a deal. And again,
Poor guys.
Just hear me out here. What you think of as the union workers and management, it's not that. So the ILA president, Harold Daggett, he actually threatened, he's an old school break your legs guy, to cripple America.
I'm going to stab you through the heart with a pencil. Do you understand me?
Sorry, right clip, but here's another clip.
When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's going to happen? I'll
Tell
you.
us.
First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run?
You'll be choking
You're better
them?
off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. And in today's world,
Sounds like
I'll cripple
extortion.
you. I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means. Nobody does.
You mean you'll pay someone else to cripple us because I don't think you could waddle my way quickly enough. Now, I want to make this...
Looks like the snowman from the old school Christmas movie.
Yeah. Silver and gold on my Christmas tree.
Love that chain too, by the way.
Everything you've been told is, now it would be one thing if you believed, hey, these are people who are underpaid. These are this is the backbone of America, and the offers that have been made have been cutbacks and basically no concessions. None of what you have been led to believe with the working class hero bullcrap, name that movie line, is true. Here's what the ILA has been offered: a 50% pay raise. More employer contributions to these retirement plans. Actually, the employer contributions have the offer, it's triple.
Yeah.
Okay. And retaining the status quo on port automation. That's what has been offered. Okay. Now you may
50% pay raise.
50% pay raise.
What?
Now you may be thinking, hey, that's just like people working the factories 7 days a week for 12 hours without a piss break.
Coal mine.
Granted, 50%, it's paltry. I know you, if you're not a union worker out there in the rest of the private sector, you probably see that every 6 months. What their demands include 77% pay raise over 5 years.
Jeez.
And less automation in ports. Less than exists now, which has put us behind the rest of the world in basic management of our ports. So 45,000 people on strike. JP Morgan has estimated that it could cost the American economy $3.5 to $4.5 billion a day. Of course, the Kamala and Biden administration took the side of the ILA, even though a lot of union workers don't like them at this point anyway. They urged the U.S. Maritime Alliance to come to a fair deal because 50% pay increase and triple employer contributions wouldn't suffice.
It's not very fair. It's an insult, really.
Yeah. And let's be really clear, too. When you're talking about 95% of the ILA political contributions, they've gone to Democrats. 13 of the top 25 political donors of all time are unions, some of which are public sector unions, just to be clear. So when you think, you think big oil, you think big pharma. Yep, there's corruption, of course, with lobbyists, but across the board. But a lot of people overlook the unions. That's why they feel so bold in demanding a 75% pay raise.
5 years.
Yeah.
77% over 5 years.
It's hard to
Are
believe.
you kidding me?
Well, hold on. Are they? I mean, we'll get. They must not be being paid all that much.
Exactly. They're not
I
being
mean,
paid very
listen,
well.
We got to stand with our brothers.
Yeah, because if they're being paid super well, if they own things like, it would be, you'd think racketeering.
The raise they want is more than most people's annual salary.
Yes, exactly.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah,
that is fair.
Yes,
I have a hard time getting on board with that.
That's a very good point. And former Vice President Biden, of course, was actually set to speak with the union leader of the longshoremen, but he went to the wrong place. And that is not, it's an easy mistake to make.
Oh, come on, Joe.
What is democracy?
So let's go through. I could picture him saying that in the drive-thru.
Sir, that's not on the menu.
Let's go through the claims here. Their claim that the ILA, they're protecting the downtrodden workers. Our ILA brothers and sisters play a critical role in keeping the American economy running, and they deserve industry-leading wages and robust job protections for the vital work they perform. Here's the truth, and it's not even within the realm of argument. These ILA workers are incredibly well compensated. They're holding you hostage so that they can get fatter. Let me be really clear. It would be one thing if they wanted what a fair market price would offer them. What you make. Make no mistake, there's kind of three tiers in the United States as far as employees. There is public employees, namely federal, government workers. Okay. They get the Cadillac benefits, right? They have the kind of job security that you could only pray for. Then you have giant ass union workers, and then you have the rest of you. And some of you may look at that and say, well, then I want to be in the giant-ass union pool. Sure, but then we would have no industry left because it's entirely unsustainable. For proof, look to any major industry that is dominated or controlled by these unions.
Also selective.
Yes.
The unions are very selective, and you can't just get in.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Son and a son of a son of a son of a son of a son. So let me write this, lay this out for you. All references available every day. Link in the description. The base salary for ILA members, okay, not including overtime. The base salary is $81,000. Most ILA officers make base salary over $200,000 a year. Okay, so base $81,000. I doubt many people are making that. And then the officers make over $200,000. Now, that's not even to consider 6 weeks vacation.
Wow.
I'm sure you watching right now, you get that, right? And you think the solution is you need 6 weeks vacation if you don't have it. Or you think maybe split the difference. They have unbelievable health insurance, pensions, the kind that, of course, you could never imagine.
That they don't pay for, yeah.
Right. And you know what? That guy, Daggett, I don't know if you know this, he makes over $700,000 a year. In just his annual salary, he has a $6 million house in New Jersey and a 76-foot yacht.
Well, he sold it.
We're the backbone.
Yeah.
We're the backbone of society. We're going to cripple your economy. Really, Mr. $6 million house? Hey, I don't talk about my salary and money is pretty vulgar, but I will tell you this. I've decided to run a business. I haven't made anywhere close to this guy. He doesn't own anything. He's a shakedown artist. And by the way, his 2 sons make over $200,000 a year as ILA officers.
Find me the picture of his house. I want there's a picture of his house going around. You just need to see it to believe it.
Well, that's not good for him.
Well,
and you can go.
His address.
You can go back and look at his history. I know you're thinking, does this guy have mob connections? Of course he does. Here you go from the NY Post. He was actually a co-defendant during this. It was like a 2005 RICO trial. Someone was dead. I don't know. You can go and read up on it. The point is,
Co-defendant, he was found dead in a trunk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Point is, people found dead. He has a $6 million house, 76-foot yacht, and a $700,000 annual salary, plus unbelievable benefits. And that money stays in the family.
Holy cow.
Looks like a bit of almost like a penis. A little bit. It's like
you see what you want to see, Gerald.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that at all, actually. You told me that earlier, and I was like, I don't know, that's crazy.
No, you're the one that told me that, Josh.
No,
Let's
that
not
looks like
lie
a
about
splatter.
this. By the way, if you add up some of that compensation that we were talking about to that base salary, $150,000 plus for those people with overtime and some of the benefits added in.
Yeah.
Can you imagine an American worker getting that? By the way, don't forget the pension part of that, which is about $100,000 per year after you do not work anymore for them.
Yeah.
That's
current.
That is,
and they want 77% increase over 5 years, have been offered 50. At what point do you say, hey, maybe unions aren't looking out for the American worker, they're looking out for the unions. And here's another claim that they'll make, because you don't want to focus on Daggett. He's very easy to dislike. It would be hard to like him.
I mean, it's hard to imagine somebody with that kind of goatee living in that kind of house.
Yes, exactly. You think he has servants? Like, all right, shave my Fu Manchu.
No, he does that himself.
Yeah, because I'm a working man. So they're also claiming that the ILA's demands, and this is an important thing, and you'll see some of these populists on the right say, well, yeah, and I agree, automation, we are reaching an unprecedented time where almost everything could be automated through AI, but that's not what we're talking about here. So they are claiming that these demands will actually safeguard future jobs.
We want to protect these good American jobs for the people that work 24 hours a day to preserve America's economy and keep moving America's commerce moving.
Everything is hyperbole with these 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So every person is going to be dead within 2 weeks because they don't sleep?
I feel like a union head might have negotiated non-24-hour work days
I feel like
a long time ago.
No, you don't understand. They get 6 weeks paid vacation if they work 24 hours a day for the rest of the year.
I see.
That's not a bad deal for the company then, I guess.
It's 4-hour shifts, so.
Yeah, well, that's why I better thank a union member.
Better thank a union member. Here's the truth.
Stop it.
The demands that they're making will accelerate job losses unbelievably. So let me give you some the more I dove into this and the more that Lane the Brain dove into this, it was funny.
Yeah.
Little history lesson. 1964, the ILA, they went on strike. Right? It resulted in guaranteed annual income, 6 figures when adjusted for inflation. So this idea that if you go back to the 60s, they were necessarily, again, they were still living very high on the hog compared to the rest of the American workforce at that point in time. Okay, so the result between 1964, that was right after the strike ended, right? Guaranteed annual income.
This is great.
64 to 1977, not one new longshoreman was hired.
Wow.
So they got what they wanted and then closed the door, pulled the ladder up behind him. We're looking out for the American worker. Really? Oh, so this idea is that, well, then you want all Americans to be, no. Sorry, we're full. Let me give you another example.
Jeez.
Elevators. In 1945, the New York City elevator operators They were unionized. They went on strike. The city lost $100 million. Okay. 1945, city lost $100 million. Okay. So you would think, all right. So this is a good example. Back then, of course, unions were relevant. They went to bat for their workers. And they came out on top. Well, what happened is by 1950, the automatic elevator was standard. And by 1970, there were no more elevator operators.
Dallas, Texas was the first one to get one. That's nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
it's also a bold time to go on strike.
Yeah, 1945.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is it like after August-ish or what?
You get home from Japan or from the Pacific, and there's a guy at the elevator. Nope.
Can't do it.
Won't do it, pal.
Take the stairs.
This is what you fought for. Get up the stairs.
Hey, don't worry. Look, they can't replace this. They're gonna feel the pain. What? What do you mean? You can replace it with godforsaken numbers? Well, shit, I didn't see that happen.
Yeah, just by push a button now, Chief.
So you think an elevator's a computer's gonna be able to remember how many numbers are gonna go up?
Come on.
No, can't do it.
It's like 20 floors here.
And even then, you think you're gonna get a computer to know that you can't have a 13th floor?
No
Wait,
13th floor.
what do you want? What do you want? I have to answer a damn ghost?
Is that a New York thing? There's no 13th floor?
No, that's everywhere.
What?
Yeah.
That's
People
not right. I've seen 13th floors all over the place.
No, you have not.
You went to unlucky places, and that's probably what
You're
happened
just
to you.
haunted, Gerald.
Yes, you are. Here's another claim that they're making. This is for the worker, that the U.S. ports need to ban automation because, and you'll hear those workers saying that it will cost, and in some cases it's true, in this case no, it will cost them their jobs.
The ILA is fighting for respect, appreciation, and fairness in a world in which corporations are dead set on replacing hardworking people with automation. Employers push automation under the guise of safety, but it is really about cutting labor costs to increase
Barely read.
their already exceptionally high profits. The truth is robots do not pay taxes.
Oh yeah, tell that to Robot Snipes. What? Which, yep.
Yep, he should have done it. Pay your taxes, Robot Snipes.
That came out better than I thought.
I love this. Record profits. How much are you making? About $300,000 plus 6 weeks paid vacation and benefits. But it's the corporations that are greedy.
Measly, measly $300,000.
Lane sent in that guy was Bronx John Oliver.
And here's that President Daggett, the criminal, also alleged, added, we want absolute airtight language that there will be no automation or semi-automation. Okay, let me give you...
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like, that means basically you want your workers who reek of Benson Hedges and Ben Gay to be perpetually employed. The truth here is that the lack of automation, we have an apples-to-apples comparison.
Yes.
Hurts American ports. So only 3 terminals in the United States, all in California, are actually fully automated. Only 3 on the East Coast are semi-automated. Okay. Now, I'm not just going to compare us to China here. Because, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but the overly representative power and influence of the unions empowers China. I don't know if you know that, because that's what makes things so unaffordable here. And unfortunately, made in America often now means crap. And that's because of union workers. I mean, American auto manufacturing has fallen behind. Anyone who tells you American auto is still the best is lying to you. It's just not true. They make better cars in the United States at the Toyota hub. And I say I would love to see that change. It can't change if you have the kind of influence that you see here from the unions who do so at your expense. They are elite. The rest of you are not. There's a split the difference. So China has 18 fully automated ports. So what do you think happens when American union workers say no automated ports and China has 18? And they have 27 more under construction. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's not fair, for example, to compare slave labor of China. Sure, in this case, that's not really what we're doing. We're talking about basic technology being used to not only make things more efficient, but enhance security measures. But let's go to another country. Rotterdam Port, Netherlands, has been automated since 1993.
Seriously?
These unions have been resisting basic improvements in technology since 1993. And here's a look at what that port in the Netherlands looks like, again, since 1993.
The high crane, which takes the containers from the ship, he places them in a sort of depot where 4 containers can be placed. That's not on the quay, but on the crane frame. And then the lower crane picks up the containers from that depot and puts them on an AGV.
Is that a tour?
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
You pay for that?
And we've done this since 93, and the Americans only got a couple.
Yeah. And I
know why I
asked you
had
a
that
trick
accent.
question. Yeah, I don't know.
what was that?
Netherlands, look, we've been doing this since
Listen,
1993.
It's the same boss over there, okay?
Yeah. We're not the same as your fat union workers. So I asked you a trick question because I already know the answer. And you can research the answer, go to the references. We make them available every day. The result is I know what you're thinking. Okay, we're probably not as competitive as we could be with the rest of the world as it relates to ports. Close. Out of the top 50 most efficient ports in the world, 0 American ones make the list. Union made, American quality. Not one out of the top 50. The United States of America, for God's sake. You starting to get the picture? You think we can't do better than the Netherlands at anything? That's because we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We're allowing guys like Daggett to break our legs. And here's the thing. Yes, I understand that there is a balance. Okay, there is a balance. And yeah, if you just allow corporations to automate everything at the expense of workers, at the expense of the middle class, you know, kind of like you saw during COVID, the greatest wealth transfer in American history at the behest of Democrats. But, you know, they're looking out for you. The truth is, in many circumstances, automation can be good for people. So let me give you an example. In 2019, there was I think it was a port. Was it LA? Yeah. It was automated. It immediately made supply chains work more efficiently. Ships were sitting at sea for shorter periods of time. And you may not realize this, but the truck schedules were more consistent. So truck drivers actually earned more money. One truck driver actually wrote this. This comes from Reason Magazine. Automation meant no longer having to wait hours and hours in long lines because the dock workers decided to leave early to go to lunch and come back late.
I love how he lays on the dock workers and be like, boom.
Well, and that's the problem is you'll have a union here that only cares about themselves and a union here that only cares about themselves. Well, hold on a second. I thought the idea was to be unionized, right? But the truck workers are at odds with the dock workers, and the dock workers are at odds with the truck workers, and I'm sure that they're at odds with the UAW. They don't all come together. They're all trying to get their piece of the pie, as opposed to baking more pies. And by the way, you get none of the pie if you are not a union worker. And I know so many people say, well, yeah, but we should just all be union. States should not be allowed to be right to work. States should require that everybody join a union. That's the solution to some people. But let me ask you this. Do you actually think that these kinds of salaries, these kinds of benefits are sustainable for the rest of the country? 50 of the top ports in the world were not even one of those spots. Yeah. 0 out of 50 spots. You want to apply that to every other industry? So let's stop with the working class hero BS that people use as a talking point to sort of perpetuate, I would say, in a phony way, populism. And we actually do need to look at the numbers. And we actually do need to look how technology can be used to serve humanity. Yes. In this case, they're preventing it. They're forbidding it. And here's the thing. If they had their way, there wouldn't be any innovation. I gave you the example of the elevators, right, and the guaranteed income for the long, and no people were hired. This one I just wanted to save to the very end of the segment because it's beyond funny.
The cherry on top of funny.
In 1977, and no matter what I say today, you'll say that's hyperbole, and believe me, I mean, I've been physically assaulted by unions and then had to have armed security because they followed me to my car with guns telling me they would kill me in Michigan when it went right to work. Okay, I have plenty of experience with unions. I know these types. Not all, but certainly the representation. So no matter what I say, you will have people try and dismiss me as working for the elite, even though we are funded by you, Mug Club. All right. And you would say that I'm joking or being misleading. That's why checking the reference is important. In 1977, the ILA went on strike to oppose the use of containers.
I'm sorry, what?
Containers. We're not talking about AI. We're not talking about typewriters. We're not talking about forklifts. We're talking about containers.
Like shipping containers?
Yes, the steel shipping containers.
They were hoping for different containers, or they were hoping for no containers at all.
What you got to do is you got to have that rope netting thing.
You got the rope thing because look, you got to have a guy tie the rope,
right.
And then you got to have a guy double check the rope. Then you got to have a guy smoke for 19 minutes, and then you got to have a guy who makes sure you get 6 weeks paid vacation. With rollover days.
Containers.
They opposed containers. Hey, anyone out there who's not working in one of these massive unions, I don't know, you think you'd be able to, if you work a desk job, oppose pens?
Email. Anti-email. Big pen.
It's a giant racket. That's what it is. So what's the solution here? Okay, well, first off, you stop kowtowing to unions. I think that's step number one. It also, keep in mind that Biden's bipartisan, the infrastructure bill, it prohibited using any funds to automate ports. So that's great. So what I would say is consider privatizing ports. Considering that let's consider maybe training programs for people who are working at these ports so they're not displaced, but they can actually go to a new job where technology serves as a net added benefit. And then you can go and work another job because this is something that has reached the point of automation. Sort of like automobiles compared to horse and buggies. Sort of like bulldozers compared to whatever they had to use, blunt, heavy objects before bulldozers. I mean, everything advances, and we need to focus on using technology to serve humanity, not to replace humanity. And there are plenty of examples of that having taken place. You could probably offer some early retirement packages for the older workers. They did that in Rotterdam when it was automated. And, let's actually look at... People are not going to like this. Breaking up the power of these unions. Look, if there could be some kind of a policy that just requires it to be within striking distance of the national average for a comparable job as it relates to salary, benefits, vacation, then maybe you could split the difference. Then maybe people who are actually in poor states or municipalities who feel as though they're being taken advantage of, and that does happen, maybe their cost of, their quality of life could be brought up. If the unions are just willing to share a little bit of a piece of their pie, maybe there could be some kind of averaging on a national or state-by-state level so that there isn't this discrepancy of people like Daggett who you see and someone working for a private company who, by the way, is making a good living as much as their employer can afford, but isn't living as high on the hog. I don't know. Maybe it could be something comparable to, let's if we had a direct comparison. Oh, yeah, that's right. UAW, the big three, how much they make and cost, of course, the American taxpayer versus American auto workers for Toyota here in the United States or Hyundai, who still make very, very good wages but work outside of some of these union constraints. And I don't know if you know this, they're happier and have a better quality of life. The unions won't tell you that, though. Let's just split the difference. Is that reasonable? You can comment below. That's a starting point. Hey, if you're still watching this, congratulations, it's been free this whole time. Consider hitting the notification bell or watching one of these videos for more like-minded content. I don't know when this is airing, when you're watching this. It could be in the future after Skynet has fallen. If it's 3 years from me filming, it's definitely fallen.